what is the biggest challenge you've ever faced in the company? And how did you overcome that, if you did?
The biggest challenge, so probably 2 years after I started, we pretty much ran out of money, and I have investors, but I haven't raised money since 2019, but this was probably, like, 2 years in, and fashion is very cash intensive. Even if you're growing, let's say you double your sales, you still have to pay for that product before you're
Mm,
getting paid for that product. So, it's always like more cash, more cash, more cash. So we had a rough season and we were really tight on cash. And at that time, I had a small team. I was very transparent with my team. I shared everything with them at that time.
wow.
And I was like, guys, we're not in a good place. Yeah. Things are not good. And I I scared the team because I was scared. And I ended up, and it was this moment where I just had to fight and do everything I could do to save the business. So I had to anyway, I ended up borrowing money from investors with interest and figuring it out. I ended up delaying payroll by 2 days. And it was only 2 days, but for my team, that was very destabilizing for them. And so
Mm,
I ended up losing from my small team, like almost 80% of my team.
wow.
So that moment was the hardest thing I ever went through because first I went through this moment of almost running out of money and being desperate to try to figure out how to save the business. And then I lost the people that were like my original team because of them feeling like we weren't stable. And then I was like doing everyone's job until I could rehire and figure out rebuild. And I didn't think I was going to make it. I was working 7 days a week till late at night every night doing everything because I was basically essentially without a team. It was the worst moment. It was the worst thing I ever went through, actually.
In your whole career?
Yes. Yes, because I had fought so hard and worked so hard to get this brand and to launch something. So to feel like it was going to maybe go away, that I wasn't going to be able to save it the biggest was the worst thing I had gone through professionally. Yeah.
Did any of those people come back?
No, but I'm still, close with some of those people, and in touch. It was also, anytime some things like that happen, I do feel, it brings other people in that maybe are meant to be there and help you get to that next
Mm,
level. Um, but, a friend of mine said to me, she was like, "I've been there. I had this happen to me exactly, and I lost my team at the same time. You're gonna get through it. You're gonna get through it." And I was just like, "Okay, what's happening today? I'm getting through this." And eventually we got back on track.
wow. When I've been through a couple of moments where I felt the need to be transparent for all sorts of reasons, when something bad was happening, and I ended up being transparent, and people left, and a lot of people. We had one situation where probably 60% of the company left in a similar kind of situation, and
What happened that they
we had decided I decided that we needed to rebuild our product, and I told everyone it was gonna take a year to rebuild it. It actually was taking almost 2 years to rebuild it, and in that process, all the salespeople and the people responsible for the customers, they said, I've been telling my customer this, the product's not coming, what's going on?" And essentially, they couldn't make commission, they couldn't do this. So they all, I mean, it was like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I remember being very upset and actually angry at those people at that moment in time. And I
Yes.
reflect on it now and I say, if I were in their shoes, I probably would do I probably would do the same thing. And it kind of got me to that's actually been a major thing for me in my career, I think, is when people used to quit on me, any company, I held it against them, like, really, like, especially the early days. I was like, "I'm never gonna forget that, and I'm gonna," and then and I would then I got to a point where I tried to save people. "I'll give you a bonus, I'll do it." And now it's like, if you wanna leave, my view is better, actually, because I don't wanna be responsible for you, staying and not really being passionate about it or anyway. So that's probably been one of my biggest maturations as a manager of people is being okay and almost like embracing it and saying, I'll be here if you need help, call me and no hard feelings. And
Yeah. And I learned, I think I wanted to be, I want to be transparent with my team and I am pretty much, but at the same time, you have to inspire confidence and you have to make the team feel confident about the future. And you can't, if you're worried, they're going to be worried, right? They're looking to you to be a leader. So I learned a lot from that. And I used to also take it very personally when people left and it would fill me with dread when someone's like, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Oh
I
my
know
God, I
exactly.
want to die." That just like there's nothing I dislike more than that. And sometimes, which I don't do this now, but I'd be like, "Are you quitting?" Like I just be like, "Are you leaving?" Because I almost couldn't wait, with that dread of the conversation.
It's like when you get the slack, can we talk? Can we talk?
Oh, it's never anything good. It's never a good thing when someone wants to pull you aside. I wish it was. And now I'm kind of like, okay, all right, well, I try not to take it personally. I always want to understand why, but yeah, it's just a part
Yeah.
of the deal.